All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new DC update, and I am on the road to 20,000 subs. So if you guys can help out, and if you enjoy the video today, please take a time to like it, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you'll be notified when new videos go up. I can only get to that number with your help. All right, so we have quite a few things to look at today. And in fact, we're going to look at some revised numbers for the Joker. I gave a whole video yesterday on the numbers on what they were expecting for the weekend, but it is even worse than what they were anticipating. And we're going to start off today's news, which is really interesting. We've got, this is some comic book news. The Batman title, in comics, DC Comics, has a couple of people coming back that people are going to get excited for. Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb are both coming back to do a run on Batman I believe it's early next year, or it's coming up very soon. And so it's going to be really cool. I do know that there was supposed to be a Hush Part 2 storyline that was going to be worked on. I don't know if this is going to be that story or not, but he is coming back to do a run on Batman's DC Comics. It's supposed to be kind of a whole new beginning for Batman. It's to get people excited again, because the last time he did something was almost 20 years ago, specifically with Batman. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see him come back. I'm excited for Jim Lee to come back, and also for Jeff Loeb. Two amazing individuals, and that's going to be quite the thing. So let's get into some of the pictures that I have grabbed since the last time. All right, guys, last week was the All-In special, so if you guys haven't seen that yet, these actually sold out, and they're going to be doing a second printing, especially on the All-In Special 1. It's going to be an alternative cover, and you might want to check these out. This week, Absolute Batman starts, so I should be doing a review on a lot of this stuff here very shortly on my channel, so stay tuned for that. So this is some Batman news here. It says, David Zaslav wants the DCU Batman to be introduced as soon as possible in order to compete with Marvel. It's possible Robert Pattinson's Batman will join the DCU after the Batman Part 2 is released. No update on the Brave and the Bold, which makes sense because of this coming out. I can see that, like I've said before, James Gunn does not like anything other than his stuff out there. And so it's very possible that he's going to do his darndest to pull this Batman into the DCU, which I did a review on the Penguin yesterday, and I've come to realize that Robert Pattinson was my least favorite part of the Batman film. I just don't think he fits the role at all. So this goes to what I said in one of my previous updates, that they are expecting Brainiac will be in, and it's just a rumor, that Brainiac will possibly be in Superman. And I do believe if they do that, he will be played by Tudyk. So we'll find out when the movie does get released. Now, I thought this is just kind of goofy. This is definitely for little kids. I still think it's kind of goofy. But it says DC will release a children's graphic novel inspired by James Gunn's Superman. Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner will appear. So it's a Superman's good guy gang. And it just looks goofy. This is what I have a feeling the DCU is going to be. So Todd Phillips does confirm that his time in the DC Universe is officially over, and he will not be returning for any DC-related content. And I did report on this last week. It's pretty much a done deal. He said he is done with Warner Brothers and the DC Universe. At least at this stage, there's no plans to come back at all. All right, so Frank Grillo is going to be playing Rick Flag Sr. in the DCU, starting with Creature Commandos. And we also see that he is in Superman. But James Gunn did come out with EW, which is Entertainment Weekly, and had kind of a conversation with them. And this is what he says in regards to Rick Flag Sr. He said, "This isn't just a good guy, not at all. We see all different sides of his character. He is morally a complex human being. Grillo is somebody who I've known for a little while, and I've wanted to work with him for a long time. He was one of the first people that I talked to when I took over the studio. Like, we're going to find something cool for you. And now he is everywhere. And this remains to be seen whether this is going to be a character that people gravitate towards or not. We shall see shortly. Now, there's been a lot of talk whether James Gunn had anything to do with the Joker 2 or not. And James Gunn did chime in on this. He said, Todd had Joker in full swing by the time we came on board. I've watched and given notes. And that comes directly from James Gunn. He said, I've watched and given notes. But it is mostly with Warner Brothers, where it started. Everything going forward in live action, we're involved with. And so he does confirm that he gave notes. And we don't know if Todd Phillips took any of those notes. Todd Phillips is saying this is his movie through and through, but we don't know if that's true or not, because here it is from the horse's mouth that James Gunn has given notes, which, again, he really shouldn't be giving his 2 cents in with something that was already in production like that. Who knows what kind of an impact he had on that movie. So Joel Kinnaman, who played Rick Flag, the younger, in the Suicide Squad, was asked if he would return as Rick Flag Jr. in Peacemaker Season 2. He said, that's ridiculous. I would never be on a show like that. It's not what I do. Now, a lot of people said this was him basically being his character, making fun of it, but nobody knows for sure, but he would be good to stay away. I really hope that people start recognizing the DCU for what it appears to be. Until we see something really good, I just don't want Creature Commandos. I don't want to have anything to do with Peacemaker Season 2, and I just have a lot of fears for Superman. Now, this came out like the day after the movie got released, but it says you can now pre-order the latest Joker film on Blu-ray, 4K, or DVD from Amazon.com. I'm not even going to own this film. I just will act like it does not exist moving forward. So it says, a director for the DC Studios and HBO's much Bollywood series, Lanterns, has been found. So it says, let's see what it says here. So, a director for the DC Studios, Lanterns, has been found. James Hawes, an established TV helmer who most recently directed a string of episodes of the Gary Oldman spy series Slow Horses, has been tapped to helm the first 2 episodes of the sci-fi cop series. It says Lanterns is said to have a gritty, true detective vibe and follows Hal Jordan, a legend among the space police force known as the Green Lanterns, as he reluctantly mentors a younger Green Lantern, John Stewart. The 2 intergalactic cops get drawn into a dark Earth-based mystery as they investigate a murder in the American heartland. So hopefully this show is good. I don't like the fact that Hal Jordan is in his 60s. Again, I think it's a huge misstep by DC, but by, James Gunn. But hey, it's to be expected at this point. So somebody asked James Gunn, bro, why there's no DC Studios logo on Joker Folie à Deux? And he says, because it's not a DC Studios film. And Sammy on X posted, so a DC movie can release outside of DC Studios. Cool. So restore the Snyderverse, release the Ayer cut, then Warner Brothers Pictures can publish it. So, yes, it is a fact that things can be done outside of DC Studios. But this goes to show you that they just don't care about a section of the fans. They still are giving the middle finger to the people that really want to see Darkseid again and want to see the end of Justice League 2 and 3. But hey, that's what you can expect from Warner Brothers. So this comes from Sil Abdul, and he's talking a little bit about Todd Phillips here. And he says, 2 years ago, Todd Phillips was developing his own DC Black Label universe under Warner Brothers Discovery, which would have been awesome. Zaslav pulled the plug on the initial plans for this universe that would have been Elseworlds takes from various directors on DC characters a la Joker under Phillips' purview. Any possible Phillips DC Elseworlds hung on the performance of Joker Folie à Deux. Phillips read the writing on the wall a few weeks before the premiere that he would have this uphill battle, thus ending any future plans of his Black Label. This is a shame that this happened, because I think this is going to be more the future of DC than it is something like what James Gunn is doing, trying to do this whole shared universe, because they're still not doing it right. I want to see a regular, Justice League where people are about the same age and have them in their prime. But no, we got to go super old, which is bizarre, except for Superman. Now, as far as this goes, this would have been awesome. But there might be a reason why Joker Folie à Deux didn't do well at theaters. It's almost like it was self-sabotage but who knows? So this says, James Gunn confirms there's been momentum on Paradise Lost and the DCU's Wonder Woman. I wouldn't quite say that exactly, but somebody asked him, understandable, any progress on Paradise Lost or Wonder Woman? I can imagine a few drafts being sent in. He said yes. That's all he said. So there's a little bit of movement, but I wouldn't say a whole ton of momentum. It's still kind of behind the scenes. This is what I talked about in my video with the Joker and how horrible the returns are on it right now and the ticket sales are. And it said, I actually said this in my video, and this was before this article came out by Variety. It says, Joker 2 reportedly needs to make $450 million to break even. So far, it's made $121 million worldwide. And that's in its opening weekend. There's no way it's going to reach that $450 million mark. This is going to be a loss for the studio. This got a lot of people excited. This is a fan-made poster. This is not real. It said, we got a teaser poster, Superman. And it's a very plain poster, but this is not real. James Gunn even said it is not real. All right, so there's some interesting people coming out now talking about Superman. The hype train has already started, specifically with Scott Snyder and this other writer who was talking about it. I can't remember the guy's name, but Kevin McGuire, artist of Justice League International, says that Superman is heavily influenced by Justice League International. He visited James Gunn's set, watched some footage, and walked around the Fortress of Solitude. There's definitely a Justice League International sort of influence there. Now, he did have to come back and clarify later that he doesn't like to do interviews like this and talk about stuff because people take it out of context. He didn't mean that there was Justice League influence at the Fortress of Solitude or in the set that he visited. Just the fact that he's got Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner in it gives it that Justice League International type feel. Now, there was a lot of controversy with DC Studios not putting their logo in the Joker 2, but here it is from Wikipedia. It says, Zazie Beetz, Leigh Gill, and Sharon Washington also reprised their roles from the previous film, while Brandon Gleeson, Catherine Keener, Steve Coogan, and Harry Latte join the cast. It is produced by Warner Brothers Pictures and DC Studios in association with Joint Effort. So that kind of puts that to rest. Somebody asked James Gunn, what comic or arc inspires your Lex Luthor depiction in the upcoming Superman movie? He said, there are so many. Lex is one of my favorites. He works on so many levels, and it's been a joy bringing him to the screen with the incredible Nicholas Hoult. Some of the influences were, of course, All-Star Superman, Azzarello's Luthor, and the reckless scientific genius from the 1950s and 60s. So this will be interesting to say the least. Now, I think this would be a huge misstep, but it says The Flash may be introduced into the DCU through an animated series. And this comes from Jeremy J. Lopp. I hope this is not true. I hope this is not true at all, but we shall see. So here are the final numbers for the Joker 2. And this is after its opening weekend, and they had originally expected like 55 to 60 million at the domestic box office. Instead, it debuts with 37.8 million. Joker earned 39 million on Friday alone in 2019, lower than the 40 million the studio reported yesterday. Sunday brought in 6.2 million, 45% drop off of Saturday's 11.3 million. Budget was 190 million plus before, the advertising. That comes from Deadline. How crazy is that, guys? Things are just not looking good for DC fans at all. And like I said on social media, there were a couple of people that came out on X and started. Scott Snyder, who I respect a lot, came out and said that from what he's heard from everybody, that Superman is going to be a very special, heartfelt, and fun movie, and that it's really going to hit the feels. And I had to chime in, and I said, this is going to be an uphill battle for DC. They have burned the fans too many times that people are going to be hesitant to go see this. And I talked about this in my last video, that they have burned too many bridges. The general audience isn't there, and DC fans aren't there. Otherwise, they would have shown up for the Joker too. You can make all the excuses you want. This was outside the DCU continuity. The first film made over $1 billion, and there's no reason this shouldn't have made money, but yet people are not going. People have lost faith in DC as a brand in movies, but we shall see where this all heads in the future. All right, guys, that's my update for the day. I do appreciate the support. We will see you on the next video.